video. So I actually asked on my Instagram what videos you guys wanted to see from me, and I got a lot of the same responses. So I took a picture of my phone because I'm filming on my phone, and then I'm going to answer them on here. And I'm also filming with my back camera today because I normally film with the front so I can normally see what I'm doing, but I'm hoping that the back camera is better quality so I can't actually see myself right now, which is really freaking me out. It's so weird. It's like normally I'm like talking to myself, but like now I'm just looking at like the back of my phone and it's really weird. But anyway, so I actually got a lot of questions like asking just about me in general, and I actually never realized that, like, when I first came onto my YouTube, I never even spoke about who I was or anything about me, and it's actually so weird. So yeah, a lot of people ask, like, get to know you, likes / dislikes, pets, siblings, aspirations, like where have I been on holiday, like my own story, family, hobbies, like loads of people ask that sort of thing. So first thing, obviously you guys know, my name is Alesia. I'm 21, I live in the UK. I've got 2 little doggies. They're dash hounds, miniature dash hounds. They're just little sausage dogs. They are the cutest dogs in the whole world. They are the love of my life. I will put pictures in here, and they're just my best friends ever. I never understood what it was to love a pet until I had a pet, and I literally just love my dogs so much. So their names are Coco and Poppy. They are both 5 years old. They're going to be 6 this year. So I've got one sister. She's older than me. She is 24. She's gonna be 25 this year. Her name is Claudia. My birthday is May 13th, so I'm gonna be 22 this year. I'm going on holiday with my family in May as well. We're going to Florida, which is gonna be so fun. We're going to Disney. I'm so grateful that we get to do that. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, people ask where have I been on holiday. So I've been to Portugal, Spain, America. I've been to Paris, Amsterdam, and I think that's it. Oh, Italy as well. I'm Italian as well. I forgot to add that in. I'm full Italian. Yeah, I think that's all the countries I've been to. If there's anywhere I'd like to go, I'd love to go to Australia, but I just feel like the flight is just so long. Like, why is it so long? Well, obviously I know why it's so long, but I just don't know if I can hack it. Like, when we go to Florida, how many hours? It's like about 8 hours, and it's just, I can't deal with it. I literally have a breakdown every flight. I'm like crying because I just can't cope with like sitting there for that long. So I don't know if I'll ever get to Australia, but you never know. I'd also love to go to like Japan. I just think it's so cool. And I know we've been to America, but I'd love to go to Vegas. My parents really want to go back to Vegas. They went on their honeymoon, I think, and they really want to go back there. So hopefully we can go back there. Where else do I want to go? I don't know. I really love America. Just really love everything about America, and Australia just looks amazing. That's like the place that I'd really love to go. So people ask like what are my interests. So when I was at school, I used to be really sporty. I was really good at rounders and tennis, and I actually played a lot of tennis growing up. Like, do it every day before school. I do it at lunchtime, do it after school. Like, I was a really big tennis player, and I think I was like number 1 in the region, I think, for like a bit. But like, yeah, it was like I was really like, you know, people wanted me to like go for it, like be, you know, go to academy and stuff, but I don't know, as I got older, when I was like 14, 15, like I stopped enjoying it as much. I had to study as well for my GCSEs, and it just got too much and it wasn't enjoyable anymore. So I did stop, but I was really into that. And then I was good at swimming as well. I think that's all the things I used to do. So yeah, I was quite sporty. I was never in like the winter sports. I never did like netball, hockey, or any of those things. It was mainly just the sun sports. So a lot of people have also mentioned about starting recovery and my opinions on meal plans. So first of all, starting recovery, it can be so hard. It can be, I feel like one of the biggest steps into starting recovery is kind of admitting that you have a problem, if you know what I mean. So like admitting that you struggle with food, or yeah, you're just having hard thoughts around food and your body and your shape and your weight and maybe your reflection, and like all these different things. It'd be so many different things, but admitting that you have something that you want to change is one of the biggest steps, I would say, because for a long time you can sort of convince yourself that you're fine, and you can be in denial. You don't want to make a change. You can know there's something wrong, but you don't really want to do anything about it because you're too scared. So I do think that's one of the biggest steps, is to actually admit that you are struggling and that you need help. But starting recovery, I think it's all about, if you're lucky enough to have, like, I think I said this in my last video, but if you're lucky enough to have people around you, I think, you know, speaking to them, they can sort of encourage you and help you keep on track, because it can be hard, can be really, really hard to navigate it yourself, and telling other people helps you hold yourself accountable as well. And also reaching out for professional help. I know that's not accessible to everyone, and it can be really difficult to wait within the services and to get seen. But if you do have the luxury of that, then obviously it's always amazing to have a professional on board to help you through your journey. But I think it's just all about implementing, first of all, if you're talking about food, regular eating patterns. So someone did mention what's my opinions on a meal plan. So I think that is very beneficial at the beginning of recovery, because personally, from my experience, I had got so lost on how to eat. I literally needed to retrain myself to know how to eat again. I didn't even know what was normal to have, what amounts were normal, what times to eat, what I should eat, like all these things. I was so confused. So I think having a meal plan sort of gives you that routine and that structure back, which I think is good. And I think that's one of the first steps in recovery as well, is to have the sort of plan in place. A meal plan isn't beneficial anymore when it's sort of keeping you trapped. But I think initially at the beginning of recovery, it can be helpful. And then in terms of you sort of your body, looking in the mirror, body checking. For me, I used to, and weighing yourself as well, I used to obsessively weigh myself and body check. It would be, I could eat one thing, I would have to run upstairs, look in the mirror, check what I look like, weigh myself. I would do it obsessively. And I think it's never going to be able to be stopped overnight. You're not going to be able to just wake up one day and be like, right, I don't want to do it anymore, because it's a behaviour that most likely you have gotten used to doing. I slowly started to reduce the amount that I was looking in the mirror. I started writing down, noting down every time I was doing it, and I really realised that, wow, I am doing this a lot, because it sort of became like a routine. I didn't even realise how much I was doing it anymore, because I was just so used to doing it. And then eventually, like day by day, I was making a conscious effort to do less of those things. So I was trying to look at myself in the mirror less, trying to weigh food less, like just trying to do everything less. And day by day, it gets easier. You just become used to like the new normal of not body checking, not weighing, not looking in the mirror. So a lot of comments about weight gain and comparison, and you know, looking online and comparing yourself to them. I was the biggest person for that. I used to look at my body and compare to people all the time. Like it's literally one of the biggest things that has held me back, is me comparing myself to other people and feeling like I don't look like them, and I'm not as pretty as them, and I don't dress like them, and I'm not them, and I'll never be them, and all those horrible thoughts that you get. I think it's just about trying to accept who you are, and also realizing that no one is perfect. All those people that you glamorize and look up to on social media probably look in the mirror and see about 100 things wrong with them as well. We all look in the mirror and we're all our own worst critic. We all look at ourselves and think, I don't like that, or I want to change that, or I wish I had that. I might be looking at someone else who's, you know, walking around in a crop top, and I'm walking around in a hoodie, and I'm looking at her thinking, oh, I wish I had the confidence to wear a crop top. And she might be looking at me thinking, oh, you know, I wish I looked that nice in a hoodie. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously it's not going to be things like that, but it's comparison. And it's also thinking about what about them makes them a better person than me, just because their stomach is flatter. Their stomach being flat doesn't change who I am as a person. It doesn't mean they're kinder than me, or nicer than me, or funnier than me, or more generous than me. Just because their stomach is different, that weight doesn't actually mean anything. And also for me, when my body was changing and I was becoming what I thought I wanted to look like, I wasn't happy. I didn't feel like a nicer person. I wasn't funnier, I wasn't kinder, I didn't, you know, feel this sense of achievement. I didn't become the person who I thought I always wanted to be as my body changed. I'm becoming more comfortable in the skin that I am, because I know who I am. I'm not ashamed of who I am. I like my personality, I like who I am. Like, my outer appearance isn't who I am, it's who I am inside. And I think it's just a lot of reminding myself about that. And I do have days where I look at myself and I think, you know, the bad thoughts, and I think it's horrible. But then I also remember how miserable I was when I was restricting my whole life, and when I didn't have a life, and when I was just trapped in this cycle of just being miserable all the time. And yeah, I think that's just what it's all about. Oh, someone asked about hair loss, and I actually put this on my story today. Like, I put a video of me talking and I had like little baby bits coming in the front. So I don't know if you guys have seen that. Obviously, just disclaimer, not everyone goes through this stage where their hair thins out or falls out, but this can be a symptom for some people. It doesn't happen to everyone, like I said. But for me personally, it did happen. So I did want to speak about this because I wanted to speak about what helped me. And one of the most important things is to eat the stuff that your body needs. And I know that's so hard because, you know, some of you that are watching this might have fear foods, you might be scared of certain things. And again, if you're not, it's obviously totally okay. Everyone has a different story, but I just wanted to quickly say that. You know, my hair started growing back at the front. I don't know if you guys will be able to see, but here, like, it really sort of fell out around the front and at the sides. So I've got nice fresh hair coming in, which is amazing. Having a varied diet, bringing other things in. Your body does need sugar, it does need fat, it does need all those other things. Just implementing those things back into my diet, and also just eating enough. And I know that's so hard to hear because obviously that is a massive struggle for a lot of people. Our bodies, we need so much for just our organs to function, for our heart to keep beating, for our liver to work, for our kidneys to work, for everything to work. We need so much. So never mind, you know, on top of that, growing hair, growing nails, you know, keeping us warm. On top of that, to grow hair, like, it's not going to prioritize your hair because it is trying to literally keep you alive. Oh, another topic was exercise. So I think that I can sit here and say that I have pretty much healed my relationship with exercise, and I don't feel like I need to do it every day. I don't feel like, obviously, you know, you get those thoughts where you're like, oh, I've been a bit lazy today, but I don't get the thoughts of, oh, I can't eat because I haven't worked out or anything, you know, like that, like I used to. So first of all, I want to say how I knew that I was obsessed with exercise. If I had to go somewhere, I wouldn't be able to go somewhere until I had done the workout. I would have to do it every single day, even if I was ill or I didn't feel well or I was tired or my back hurt or my legs hurt, whatever, I would still have to do it. Couldn't take a day off no matter what. What I would eat for that day would depend on how my workout went. I would obsessively have to do the exact same things every single day. So for example, if I wanted to go for one day and do a little bit less, my brain literally would not let me do any less than what that set amount of time was. It wasn't enjoyable for me anymore. I didn't do it for fun. I didn't do it to feel good. I didn't do it for any other reason other than the fact that it was an obsession. Obsessively wearing a watch and you're tracking it every day, or you won't let yourself sit down until you've hit a certain amount of goals, or, you know, or if it's just making you miserable. Like, it literally made me so miserable to work out. I did not enjoy it at all because it was just a compulsion and I had no say in whether I was allowed to do it or not allowed to do it. I felt like I wasn't allowed to eat until I had earned it. I felt like I didn't do enough to earn it, or hadn't worked hard enough for it. But the truth is that you don't have to earn your food. Like, you are a human being, so therefore you should eat, and that's as simple as it is. The way that I have healed my relationship with exercise was I completely stopped any form of exercise for over 6 months. So my dad took the cable off the treadmill. I cancelled all my gym memberships. Like, I literally just took away every single temptation because it was so unhealthy, and I could not break this habit until it literally was ripped away from me and taken away, because otherwise I was not mentally strong enough to stop it. I've now learned that I need to eat no matter what. I don't need to do anything to, like, earn my food. I don't need to feel guilty for it. If I've worked out, that's not like a free pass to not feel guilty just because I've exercised. I know that my body is allowed to rest. I do not need to exercise every single day. I don't need to work my life around exercising. Exercise can just fit into my life as and when. I learned that I wasn't going to go to bed and wake up this complete different person. None of my fears were actually going to come true. I didn't wake up and outgrow my clothes. I got a lot of people asking about my eating disorder story, which I don't mind actually talking about. I don't really mind speaking about, but I don't want to go into too much detail because this video will be so long and I feel like I've literally been speaking for ages. And also, I don't want to say anything that's going to upset someone else or make them compare to me. So I won't go into any details about, like, weight or anything to do with the hospital or any pictures. Like, I won't bring in anything like that. I will literally just talk about my sort of internal feelings. So throughout my whole life, I have always been really self-conscious of my body. I've always valued myself on the way that I looked on the outside, and I went to an all-girls school when I was younger, and obviously being around girls all day every day, you do sort of look at them and you look at their bodies and you look at other things and you compare yourself to them, and I never felt good enough. I did have quite a hard time in school with friends. I would make friends with people, we would be really good friends, and then they would sort of run off with, like, the next most popular person. So they would be friends with me and then they'd find someone better and then they would ditch me, and that's kind of like the story of my life, basically. And for a long time I sort of blamed that on the way that I looked. I thought, oh, it's because of my body, or it's because I'm not pretty enough. Or, yeah, I've always been really, really self-conscious of myself. Even when I was really, really young, I used to cover up. I didn't want to go out anywhere because I didn't like the way that I looked, because I couldn't wear the clothes that everyone around me was wearing. You know, I don't look like them, so that means I'm the odd one out. That means I'm the bad one. And I think there was just a lot of comparison and a lot of hiding and a lot of, yeah, blaming other people's actions on my body. I think that's probably the biggest thing. I just really, really struggled with feeling like I belonged somewhere and feeling like I mattered to people. And that was a massive thing in school. And like growing up, my parents, they've had their own businesses. So obviously if you're a business owner, you know that like owning your own business is a huge thing. It becomes your life. You know, they didn't just get to go to work and come home and that was it. Obviously they're always on the go because they're always thinking about their business, and you know, you're running it, and it's a massive commitment. And also, sorry if you can hear that banging downstairs, my mum's getting dinner ready. So I hope that's not too loud. But yeah, also, so my parents were really busy with owning a business, and my sister, she isn't a very family orientated person. She values her friends a lot, and that kind of made me feel a bit lost. I didn't have, you know, that sibling that I thought I was gonna have. I wasn't really close. We didn't spend a lot of time together. It was sort of, she had more time for her friends than me. And you know, that's fine. Like, some people obviously are different. Not everyone has the same values. So for me, family is really, really important. And it's not just, obviously that's not the same for everyone. So I get that. And yeah, so I felt, you know, I wasn't seen at school. I didn't fit in at school. I was ditched a lot at school. People weren't very nice to me. So that would happen at school. And then I didn't have my sister around a lot because she was off doing her own thing with her friends, and then my parents were always at work. By no means was I ever left home alone or in danger or anything like that. But yeah, I didn't really have a lot around me, and I was really unhappy in a lot of ways. And I think I just blame that a lot on my outer appearance and myself. And then once I left school, I had gone to college and I was working, and then I was really, really unhappy in my course that I was doing, and I was really, really unhappy in my job. I was not treated very nice in the job. People were really, really horrible to me. I remember I used to go to the toilets whenever I could. I'd run upstairs and literally just cry in the bathroom because I was just so upset with my life. Like, I was just so, so depressed. And I would try and tell the people around me about it, but they didn't really understand mental health or sort of what it's like to be very depressed and quite literally hate everything about yourself and your life. And I think, yeah, I think sometimes my feelings were dismissed a lot, but just because the people that I was around didn't understand mental health and they'd never been through anything like that with someone before. So it was always just like my feelings were not heard just because they didn't understand it. And I know that it was no harm intended by it. It was just some people just don't understand mental health. And, you know, if you've never been around someone that has it before, you wouldn't get it. And I completely respect and understand that. So yeah, I think that was a lot of the struggle. Was I felt very unseen, and like my feelings didn't matter, and I felt a bit abandoned by people. I think that would definitely be the thing. Was I was always there for other people. I would always do my best to show up for them, to be there for them, to check up on them, to make sure they were okay, to go to the end of the earth for other people, and no one really gave that back to me. And I think that was a massive thing for me. I felt very abandoned by people and very let down, and like I wasn't worthy and I wasn't good enough, and that did really affect me. As I started to, you know, lose weight and change the way that I looked, people would comment on it and they'd say, oh, you look really good, you know, you look amazing. And I started to feel like as I changed myself, I was more noticed. I felt seen for the first time in my life. And then it spiraled. It became way too out of control. It became an unhealthy obsession. I developed anorexia and depression, anxiety, body dysmorphia. I have borderline personality disorder as well, which I've actually never spoken about. So that's a super vulnerable thing to say, but yeah, I do have that as well, which I have never spoke about. And yeah, it just all spiraled, you know, before I knew it, into this really bad thing. And that's obviously, like I said, not my proper story, but if anyone does want me to do a video just solely on my story, then I'm more than happy to sit down and talk about it, again, with nothing triggering. I'm not blaming anyone for the way that my story happened at all, because if you've not been around someone with mental health before, you're obviously not going to understand it. You're not going to know it. You're not going to, you're not gonna, it's just gonna be completely foreign to you. You're not gonna get it. So I do get why those sort of things happen, and everything happens for a reason. And being on this path has led me to accept myself more than I ever have before. And also, I've got the strongest relationship with the people around me than I've ever had before. And I've now got you guys, which is one of my biggest blessings in my whole life. Like, I'm so grateful to be able to be in this position. I've only even got just a small amount of like little community that I have, but it's my biggest passion in life. Like, I'm so happy to have you guys, and yeah, it's just the thing that makes me the absolute happiest in the world. So yeah, that's just a little bit about my story, like I said. So if you do want me to go into it any more than that, I will be more than happy to in another video. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the last bits to talk about, really. And I hope this video wasn't too long, wasn't too wordy, but yeah, I'm really so grateful. I say this pretty much every video, but I'm really so grateful for you guys being here. This is everything I've ever wanted to do in my life. All I want to do is just help people, show people that recovery is worth it and it's possible, and just give all my all my advice throughout my journey and what's helped me, because that's all I want to do. All I want to do is just be a safe space for other people, and yeah, just help people and know that it's worth it, and that you do deserve to be happy, and you can get there even if you don't see it now. If you want me to do anything similar to this in the future, then just either comment below or DM me on Instagram. I love talking to you guys on Instagram. I think I said that in my last video as well, but I literally talked to so many of you guys and it's just amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will post another video shortly. So thank you, bye.